Welcome back to Religion in the News. My guest today is here to talk about an amazing Valentine's Day story. Welcome, Dr. Steve.
Thank you, Carol.
Dr. Steve, you have an amazing ministry called Digging Deep Ministries.
That's correct.
And that is where you go to Israel and you dig for artifacts. But I know I wanted to have you on the show today because you're going to talk about tomorrow, Valentine's Day, and the story that relates to that back in the Bible. So tell us about this amazing Bible Valentine's Day story.
Well, one of the most amazing love stories in the Bible is Ruth and Boaz. Ruth was a Moabitess, and her husband had died. He was a Jew. And so she follows her mother-in-law back to Bethlehem in Israel. And Naomi knew what she was doing. She sent her to reap in the wheat fields, and she was reaping barley under Boaz's fields. And then she went back at the threshing floor, slept at his feet, and we know the story from there. We have some amazing pictures of this site. The first picture is actually of a lady reaping wheat in a wheat field that now is no longer there because it's been built upon, but this was Boaz's wheat fields.
Wow.
This is where Ruth actually reaped the wheat, a little bit like this. And then also the next picture is truly amazing. This is, by the way, not a public site, but this is one of the things we're working on. And this is the threshing floor. The green grass in the lower part of the picture is where Boaz actually threshed his wheat and his barley. And the cave in the background is the repository where Boaz would have stored his grain. And so right in the doorway of that cave is where the love story of Ruth and Boaz happened, where she laid at his feet. And interesting, he gave her 6 handfuls of grain to take back to Naomi. Ruth had no idea what it meant, but Naomi knew exactly what it meant. Those handfuls is called a tefach, or a handbreadth. And that was the price of the kinsman redeemer. So by doing that, he was telling Ruth that he was going to redeem her according to the Jewish law.
Now, I know not a lot of the viewers know the end of that story. Tell us the end of that love story.
Well, Boaz went through the kinsman redeemer process, went back to the city, and redeemed her since she was widowed, bought her, and they had a child. And Ruth is the great-grandmother of David, from the story of David and Goliath and King David.
Awesome, awesome. Now, how did you get your hands on these pictures? You have a ministry called Digging Deep, but explain to us what that means.
Digging Deep is the speaking ministry of our broader ministry. We do a lot of things in Israel. There's 3 of us on a team. Moshe in Israel has grown up in archaeology in Israel his whole life, been working years, 30 years, 40 years on some of this stuff. And this is one of the sites he's been working on for years. We're very close to being able to lock the land in and to go public with some of these sites.
I know, that's awesome. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been a pastor for many years, but right now you go to what church?
Thompson Road Baptist Church here in Indianapolis.
And you're a teacher, or?
Teach Sunday school class there, correct.
Great, great. So you have this ministry where you go out and you speak to organizations about digging deep, and you teach people about digging for things. How does this relate to us today?
Many ways. The archaeological finds we're coming across have really changed a lot of our understanding about the Bible. Not that it was inaccurate before, but just a far better and deeper meaning. And what we do as a team is we research the sites. We then go in, try to find the sites, locate them, and then preserve the sites. Some of them we just have to buy. This is a picture of the Shepherd's Fields of Bethlehem. This is called our Tefach project, T-E-F-A-K-H. Go to tefach.com. You can see the whole project on the site. And this is where we're actually purchasing these Shepherd's Fields so that they're not built upon.
Now, I understand you have actually walked in some of the very spots where Christ has walked. Tell us about that, the experiences. What does it feel like? How does that make that real to the average person?
It changed my life. Matter of fact, it changed everybody's life that's ever been on one of our trips to step into one of these sites where Christ was actually there and these biblical sites happen. It's an amazing spiritual experience, Carol.
Right now. Actually, what I really would like to know is how the children feel about going to Israel. I know that you were telling me a little story about McDonald's, how, you know, the small little children, you told me that is an amazing story, how they swam in the Dead Sea and went scuba diving. How could that happen?
We're able to get into sites and do things that most people can't do because of our connections in Israel. And my daughter went scuba diving in the Red Sea, rode camels through the desert on a camel caravan on the Old Spice Trail. And of course, yes, they have McDonald's, and they have McFlawfuls, McShawarmas, and McSnitzels on the menu.
Now, I wanted to know, it sounds like a trip to the zoo. Is it dangerous to go over to Israel now? I know there's a lot of concerns.
I feel no danger. I feel safer there than here. The security, the Israeli army does an amazing job. Matter of fact, every country was in riots when I was there 2 weeks ago. Every country, and the Egyptian riots had started when we were there, and completely safe. And the Israeli army does a great job protecting us.
Now, how much does it cost to take a trip? Now, if I wanted to go, you could take me over there and assure that I would be safe?
Yes.
Now, do you take groups, or how many can go in one of your groups?
We take groups. We do lead tour trips and go visit our archaeological sites. The average trip, I'm going to say around $4,000 when it's all said and done. That's what I usually budget in. And that includes airfare from here in America.
That's awesome. Now, if someone wanted to get a hold of you and they wanted to say, I wanted to go to Israel, how much advance notice do they have to have? Is that something you can go next week, or do you have to plan?
It's best to plan. We usually plan at least 6 months ahead of time, sometimes more. Once in a while, I can squeeze someone in last minute on a trip. We have a trip coming up in April. April 14th to the 24th, we'll be there. We're planning one for next fall as well, and we'll have several trips throughout the year.
Now, how do people get a hold of you if they wanted to take that trip?
They can contact me through my website, diggingdeep.info. My email address is drstephenlsmith@gmail.com, and they can contact. That's the best way to contact me.
And I understand that's a life-changing experience, but I know we don't have a lot of time, but you have been through some seen miracles in your life. And just briefly, you've just had a child pass away?
Correct.
Now, how have you told me that you see miracles that you've never really seen before.
That's true. I was on a morphine pump for 10 years, on morphine for 15 years. God took all that away. He healed my back and neck where I was hit by a drunk driver. And broke every vertebrae in my neck and back. God miraculously healed me of that. I got custody of my granddaughter, which I shouldn't have been able to do, but being a single parent, but God gave me that. We've got the most amazing archaeological find in, I believe, history, getting ready to break.
I know we have to interrupt you, but we thank you so much, and we'd love to have you back and hear more about your trips.
Thank you so much,
and your miracle
Carol.
stories.
Thank
back to you.
Thanks for joining us on Religion in the News. You can share your upcoming event on our calendar by sending it at least 2 weeks in advance to the Wish TV address on the screen, or email your event and prayer request to us at religion@wishtv.com. You can also check us out on Facebook under Religion in the News. Check out our guest information and calendar events this week by visiting wishtv.com. Click on Community and then on Religion in the News. Also visit the Church Federation of Greater Indianapolis website at indyfaith.org. Here's our calendar. Have a great week.